Hi there, welcome back. So in part one, I showed you how that I had applied Goldleaf to this canvas. And today I want to give a demonstration of how I created the artwork to come up with this finished piece, which was a commission for a client. So what I did was I started with the branches, so a network of branches, and I'm just using some burnt umber acrylic paint. And I've got my tiny little mock-up on the side. But basically, I am just creating a lovely flow of branches coming down from the top of the canvas, so we get this lovely sense of movement, and I just build up the network as I'm going along. I let myself be quite free with it. Something I'd like you to keep in mind is that if you are going to experiment with painting on Goldleaf and you make a big mistake and it all goes horribly wrong, all you need to do is let the paint dry, reapply some of the size and some Goldleaf over the top and start again. Just quite liberating really to feel that that's possible. Now it's time to start adding the blossom, and I paint each flower individually, and I can tell you it takes a long time. Just a basic kind of 5-petal blob shape, and sometimes I think I'm finished and then I realize I'm going to need much more heavy density of blossom, and the client wanted a maximum blossom, like really full lovely branches. So ultimately I'm going to end up with my canvas where I have my branches and my blossom, and I'm ready to add so much detail. I'm using these two Chinese brushes for my blossom. The long thin one is called a rigger, and it's just invaluable in my opinion. On my palette I have got a range of shades of pink, about 4 shades that I've pre-mixed, and I just dip in and out, and I'm just creating a sense of shading and depth on the blossom where I'm just literally merging the wet shades together and creating a difference on each petal. It's quite laborious, but I'm an absolute perfectionist. So this is just like step 73. Kidding. I want to use the rigger to create some tiny little lines from the center of the flower, which is going to be like the stamen. I'm using a deep burgundy red, which is called a alizarin crimson. And when you're using a rigger, you need to make the paint quite wet and roll the rigger brush around in it. So it's almost like an ink, and then you're able to almost draw with this fine point. And as you sweep out from the center, you can get these beautiful, delicate, what are we calling it? Tapered, that's the word. Tapered lines. I'm using the tip of a fine brush dipped into solid white acrylic, and I'm putting a little blob of white on the tip of each of those tapered lines. And each individual layer that I'm creating builds up this beautiful sense of this gorgeous blossom flowers. I am extremely finicky, and obviously this is quite a slow process, and you might be thinking, ugh, I would just like to do them much more in a free, loose style, but this is my way. And to be honest, this was the largest canvas I've ever painted with full of blossom, and I started to experience a uncommon phenomenon known as blossom fatigue. I thought I was never going to finish it. The final step was putting a dot of gold acrylic paint in the center, as well as creating these buds, which I used a mixture of purple and alizarin and a tiny highlight of pink. And I also added some shading to the branches. And at this stage, my blossom is complete. Yay! So the next step was to decide where to put this beautiful hummingbird. I love this one, but I also love the tail of this little guy as well, so I kind of created a hybrid and found a lovely spot for the hummingbird. And so I've painted it out in white acrylic, and step one is to just block out all the areas of colour. Always find after the first coat of acrylics it looks really basic, but the more we add layers, we build up depth, richness of colour, shading, texture. It's an absolute joy seeing your creation just develop off the canvas. If you're interested in learning more about techniques for acrylic painting, I'm going to be launching an online course in September 2024. So you could add a comment down below if you'd be interested in finding out more about that. So over a period of time, I have added many layers, tiny details, all the different brush strokes I've used create a sense of texture, like little feathers and highlights on the soft wings. And ultimately we are working hard to achieve this kind of jewel-like hummingbird with glowing colours. Birds are one of my favourite subjects to paint, and I will be posting a video very soon with an example of my bird paintings. So finally, the hummingbird is complete. I'm really pleased with how it looks, and thankfully the lovely lady that is buying this painting was as well. So from the tiny little maquette which she and I had originally chosen as the sort of the format for the canvas is finished, and yeah, I'm really pleased. It's very fulfilling to create this enormous canvas, and then I had to package it up very carefully and sent it to London, and then it was going to be shipped to Saudi Arabia. So that is just the most wonderful feeling, and I miss it. I love it. I hope you've enjoyed watching this, and if you'd love to see more of my artist life, please do subscribe, press the bell notification, and I am trying to become a much more regular YouTube sharing my art journey. So I'll see you again really soon.